And it was easy for me to gravitate to anything that represents hatred of my community, right? But when I embraced Islam, Islam restored my understanding of love for humanity. I was serving life, so I had all of the reasons to be angry and hate whatever represented something that was against me. But Islam allowed me to reform my thinking, my spiritual cleansing, which allowed me to be an individual that was active in the Muslim community as well as the non-Muslim community. My Islamic teachers allowed me to work with non-Muslims in preventing gangs and preventing all of these things that young men were gravitating to. Islam gave me that purpose, and the teachings allowed us to transform individuals who were gang members. They became righteous people who came back into the community and did something positive. Like myself, I started an organization after my release called the Path to Redemption. By the teachings, it allowed me now to have a correct understanding of what humanity, how to uplift humanity, and by the correct teachings of Islam. You see where I'm coming from? Which allowed to bring about a transformation. This is what we do. When you don't have the correct teachings, you don't have the resources that is authentic, then you have this, you open the door for a lot of other chaos. But having the correct teachings and seeing that people out here, Muslims out in the society, care enough to write out a syllabus, take their time to copy it, forward it to you, and all you have to do is sit in your cell and do these lessons, alhamdulillah, that's a blessing for us as Muslims. I'm a testimony of an individual who served a lengthy sentence. As I mentioned, I was given life in the Department of Correction at 19 years old. And it's only by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I maintain my sanity inside of an environment where insanity is the norm. Islam protected me from thoughts of suicide, protected me from thoughts of depression, anxiety. Islam gave me a sense of hope. In spite of everything was going on, Islam gave me that refuge to protect me from that. You see what I'm saying? And then not only that, but it gave me the sakina, the inner peace that I needed in an environment that was chaos. So Islam establishing my 5 prayers a day, which was the safety net for me and so many other Muslims who are serving lengthy sentence. It gives them a sense of hope, and in spite of everything, it gives you that inner peace that you need to endure in an environment where depression and suicide is a very common thing that most individuals run to. The benefit came from the online university is that we had a structure of quarterly, semesters laid out to us with all of the material available that aided and assisted us in our studying. Because, just to make a last note, most inmates don't have finances to buy a book. So when they don't have the money to buy a book or a Quran or a CD or a DVD to learn the religion of Islam, that again allowed ignorance to prevail. So with the online university, the syllabus and the material, it came free. It was free for the Muslims, and it allowed them to take the courses for free, which aided and assisted those Muslims who did not have any money to buy the books that were greatly needed in the prison environment. Having a Muslim chaplain designated at the institution is very beneficial, because we, as individuals who have accepted Islamic faith, you need that type of guidance that comes from someone outside of the prison population. The Muslim chaplains, they will be able to aid and assist us in the stress that we go through, helping us cope with that, the depression, the loss of a loved one. All of these different things has a value when there's a Muslim chaplain there, versus going to a Christian chaplain. It's hard to relate to my faith. He's coming from a Christian perspective and I'm Muslim, and trying to explain to me how to cope with something from his religious perspective. It's a conflict of interest and for the most part. But having that Muslim chaplain at that institution is valuable for the Muslim population, because again, it helps establish stability in the Muslim community. It helps provide the correct teachings for the Muslim population, as well as show Muslim men what it looks like to be Muslim outside of the prison environment. When there's an absence, like it is now, where you only have 2 Muslim chaplains serving a prison population, about 30-something prisons in South Carolina, and they're stretched, they're not able to attend every community and provide a need for every community, it hurts a great deal, and you can tell it by the morale of the Muslim community. It's like a very low morale because we don't see the Muslim chaplain. We can't talk to anyone and feel like no one really cares about us. You see where I'm coming from? It feels like, man, I need someone to talk to outside of a Muslim inmate coordinator who's in the prison system, just like me, struggling with the same emotions I'm struggling with. He provides to the best of his ability, try to provide guidance for me, but it has a greater value when it comes from someone who's not attached to the prison environment. So it's a great need in the Department of Correction to have Muslim chaplains designated at each institution versus 2 Muslim chaplains designated to take care of the need of an entire population of inmates, Muslim inmates. Some Muslim chaplains have that type of deal with the Muslim community with fairness, and that helps out a great deal. But still, you would still want to see someone who represents what you represent in place, that help you, that you can go to every day. And this is the thing that makes the Muslim community feels a little bad at times, because you have a chaplain there, Christian chaplain, that Christians can go to and talk to every day about their faith. But we would have to send a request form and wait for 30 days to hear a response back from our Muslim chaplain. And and we may need it may be something very urgent, a life and death situation that we need that Muslim chaplain just to talk to, but we're unable to have that. And like I said, don't get me wrong, there's some great chaplains in this system, but it's more powerful when you have someone who represents what you represent. I think that every Muslim needs to understand that Islam inside the prison is taking place. It's really growing inside the prison system. Islam is growing. But we need more support. The Muslims in the prison population needs to know that there are Muslims out here that really genuinely care about them. And knowing that they're doing everything in their capacity as servants of Allah to aid and assist them in their personal rehabilitation. We are brothers to one another. So being that we're brothers to one another, do whatever you can to aid and assist. It don't even take a lot of money to provide the necessary materials for the Muslims. It don't take a lot, but whatever you donate, whatever the Muslims donate to the community of the Prison Initiative Act or whatever, man, it helps. It saves lives. And not only that, but it saves lives, but it saves family lives. You see where I'm coming from? It saves family lives because now this man who's going through this program, he's transforming himself so that he can return back to society and be a productive father. And when you become a productive father, you're saving and preventing your children from going to the prison system. And now you're a role model in your community. Now you're saving multiple lives by you making a donation and aiding and assisting in the growth of this particular program. It is essential that every Muslim makes a donation.
Inshallah.
We need it.